had planned to get back up, but I wanted our community members to know that when we come into the neighborhood, we bring all of our senior managers. So they all hear the people I'm talking about, that you can talk to from our executive office, which has the capital project, the ones who have worked with making sure the space is suited to what we need, run by our executive officer, Ann Wicks, and her deputy executive officer, Shirley Bailey. They're all here. And the head of our family court is here, Diane King. And then, of course, the real reason I'm getting up is that I did not mention my judicial leadership. And boy, they will get me if I go back to court, because they have agreed to serve in the position of presiding judge of family court. That's Judge Bush over here, Judge Deputy presiding judge of family court, Aram Lugo. To do that without getting any extra money in their paycheck. So I'm very grateful for their leadership, and also I have to say, yeah, contact them before you contact me.
Thank you so much, Chief Judge Satterfield and Councilmember Tommy Wells. Building on that theme, there are a few of our other leaders here, and I do want to just simply mention their names and their divisions, only because, as the Chief said, bringing a project like this to fruition is no small feat, and it involves so many different people touching it. There are so many fingerprints on this project, many of whom we will not see today, including, as Councilmember Wells said, our community who welcomed us and who are working with us to ensure that we get this project going in the right direction. So I do want to acknowledge a few of our managers. The Chief acknowledged Ann Wicks, who is our Executive Officer, Dr. Cheryl Bailey, who is our Deputy Executive Officer. Mr. Dwayne B. Delaney is also here. He's our Clerk of the Court. We have here Lou Parker, who is in the back with Angela Thomas. They're the Directors of Administrative Services. We have a representative from Dana Ferrin, our Chief Financial Officer, who is Mr. Bilal Saeed. Ms. Diane King is here, who is the Director of Family Court Operations. We have representatives from Information Technology, which is our IT department, UAN Burns. And also I want to acknowledge Mr. Joseph Sanchez, whose Capital Projects Division, as the Chief said, is responsible for this fantastic facility. I tell you, when you say it like that, I feel like somebody at an auction. $10 over here, $2 over there. Okay, moving right along. The actual ceremony that we talked about that was contemplated for outside, and I gotta tell you, our executive branch is amazing. Gone are the days when you could just go into the chief of police and get a signature in the fire department and do a block party. We have a super system, and I do want to, before I call on our Deputy Mayor of Public Safety, and all of these agencies fall under his cluster, there are a few people that I do want to acknowledge, because without their help and support, this would not have been possible. I want to start by acknowledging his Chief of Staff, Quincy Booth, who with one phone call put it in I also want to acknowledge Ms. Tanya Mitchell, who is one of the administrators at DC's Homeland Security. And these people are serious. She was calling me this morning. It looks like it's going to rain. Do you have a contingency plan? Where are we going to be? We need to get all boots on the ground. It's like, Ms. Mitchell, we've got it covered. Okay, Dante Lucas, who also worked with us. Laverne Stewart, who's with, I believe, DCRA, Courtney Williams, Curtis, the Metropolitan Police Department, Commander Hickson and his folks, and then our fire department. You guys have been amazing in making sure that we dotted every I and crossed every T to have this event today. And so with that said, I think it's fitting to acknowledge that when you have the fortitude and leadership in a deputy mayor that we have of public safety, Mr. Paul Quander, who began as a federal prosecutor, went on to lead the creation of CSOSA, which is the Court Supervision Offender Services Agency. When you have that kind of leadership, it is no wonder why the agencies under the aegis of his authority run so well. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Deputy Mayor Paul Quander.
Good morning. Good morning. Terry, thank you so very much. Very kind. Chief Judge Satterfield, Councilmember Wells, members of the court, the staff, and the community. I just wanted to take a moment and to say thank you all. Because what we're talking about here is a venue, an asset to this community where young people can come to receive services and receive those services on off hours and do some amazing things. I've had a chance to be at the drop-in center in Southeast off Martin Luther King Avenue. And I've had a chance to spend time at the drop-in the BARJ Center off of Rhode Island Avenue. And it works well. The community gets a great investment. And I'm glad to be here today for Southwest, or South Capitol Street, for this community to get the same benefit. Because what we will see is that you will have young people that will be coming in, that will rely upon this, and that will be better prepared for citizenship. The community will grow. Families will grow. This helps us tremendously. And it's something that sometimes we don't see the real structure. We see the tip of the iceberg sometimes when we have a success. But for the foundation that was laid by the Chief Judge and others, and but for that fortitude and goodwill and that strength of Terry Odoms and her staff, we wouldn't have this. So it's something that we need to reflect upon, but it's something also that we need to hold up as a jewel. Because when we have something that works, it's not only a model, but it's the plateau that we all need to get to. And this system, it works. And as long as it continues to work, and as long as the community is supporting us, and as long as all the agencies and government and the private sector come together, we have a great model. We have something that will be implemented and should be emulated throughout the country. So as Councilmember Wells was talking about those speeches that were going on last night and the night before and how inspiring they were, we need to add this to it because this is an inspiring venture. It works. Everyone that's involved needs to be congratulated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor Kwanzaa. And of course, we know that our city, our nation's capital, is a city with multi-opportunities, multi-responsibilities, and multiple people coming and going in our fair city. And the men and women who keep us safe, or who provide the blanket of safety that we sleep under, deserve certainly to be recognized and appreciated for their hard work. And so it's my pleasure to call on Captain Douglas, who is the captain of the youth division for the Metropolitan Police Department, whom we all work with quite often doing a number of initiatives where young people are concerned. Captain Douglas?
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the Metropolitan Police Department, Chief Captain Lanier and Assistant Chief Diane Grooms send their best regards. They had previously planned the event for the campaign. I'm pleased to be a part of the grand opening today, the Southwest Balance and Restorative Justice Drop-In Center. I believe community-based resources for juveniles to be of great importance, and the Metropolitan Police Department Youth Investigation Division has intensely been involved as a partner with Core Social Services. As a result of our work, we have been successful in delivering support and services together with our Partnership for Success program. Today, I will not be speaking on our Partnership for Success program. However, I would like to discuss how an alternative potential community-based resource such as this is appreciated in the city as a means for the youth to gather 6 days a week in a welcome and safe environment so they can receive services as needed. Youth from Washington, D.C. deal with challenges that so many here in our region experience. Nonetheless, we all want our youth to be a part of this wonderful community. What we all can provide is a direction to help them have a change. Community-based resources provide a good foundation. They provide people who care. They provide people with a commitment. They provide emotional support. All of this coupled together with individuals that have the skills and knowledge to work with and help young people will influence each client here at Southwest BARJ for proper development. Quality community-based resources and effective community-based groups provide a web of support for young people. We have to ensure that young people today succeed because the ones gaining the most from this center are the youth themselves. Thank you.
very much, Captain Douglas. And as we prepare to transition to our next speaker, I do want to acknowledge Norma Thompson and Alvin Middleton and Jose, who were out here this morning at 7:30 in the rain trying to get everything set up. And I just think we got to put our hands together. And so when we talk about public safety and we talk about our juvenile justice system or our criminal justice system, there are many, many partners. And one of our partners is actually here. He will be coming up to speak. He is the Deputy Attorney General for our Office of the Attorney General, Mr. Andrew Foyce. And he is as effective in prosecuting as he is in partnering and supporting any initiative that we have endeavored. We can simply call upon him, and he's here today also with his other staff. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Andy Foyce, the Deputy Attorney General.
Well, thank you so much. That was a very kind introduction, and that means a lot to me that you recognize that, because as a prosecution office, we're not just about prosecuting, we're about prevention and rehabilitation as well. So I appreciate that recognition. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is for me to be here this morning. I'm here because of the Attorney General himself, who sends his greetings and regrets was unable to attend and asked me to stand in for him. And what a tremendous panel of public servants here up front and out in the audience here. It's an honor to be part of this effort. I particularly thank my friend Chief Judge Lee Satterfield. I used to call him Lee, now I have to call him Chief Judge. We go, just Chief? Okay. Then you can call me Deputy Attorney General. But Lee didn't tell you that we go back to 1985 when we were young prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office together, despite our youthful looks, as they say. I have to recognize two people who are here with me from the Public Safety Division. One of whom is laughing embarrassedly already. Our chief of the juvenile section, who is second to none in her dedication and her efforts, her commitment to the youth of this city, Jennifer White. Jen would be. She spent 2 days at the BARJ in Northeast during the effort to Nancy recalled the effort to get some of the kids on warrants to turn themselves in, and she manned the court there by herself for 2 days as a volunteer, and that was terrific. Sitting next to her is someone without whom I could not do my job. For those of you who are Italian or know Italians or have seen the Godfather movies, I call him my consigliere. Exactly. He's a former chief of the juvenile section. No one in this city knows more about juvenile law than he does. Dave Rosenthal. I need to join everyone else and who's spoken and extend my congratulations and praise and thanks to everyone who made this happen, both the event today, but particularly making this Terry bringing BARJ to the city. And I have to make this corny joke. I mean, isn't a rainy day the best day to be in a BARJ? But to make this facility a reality, this is a great day. It's an important day. Being here for the third one, I think it's hard to believe, Terry, when you started out with the first one that that so soon you have three working. I've been to the one in Northeast. I've toured it. I've seen it work, as Paul has. And as Councilmember Wells acknowledged, that it is an evidence-based program, and the city is getting return for its investment. My main message to everyone is, and I think we all share this, we cannot give up on the children of our city, even after they've been through my office. And as I said, we're the prosecutors. You know, people think of us as, you know, wanting to lock up the kids and put them in jail and, you know, and throw away the key, at least until they're 21. Sometimes you have to do that. But most of the time, for the first exposure, we still have a chance to, you know, to get to these kids and to turn their lives around. And that's what BARJ is all about. It's prevention, it's rehabilitation, and it's important. And I want the first time that I see these kids to be the last time. And that's what BARJ is about, and that's why today's such a great day. So thank you all very much. And thank you.